was carefully crafted to
22.2% inflation rates as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
I think Nigeria has resorted to being resilient.
Before you call a police station, before they even leave, they'll take permission from
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve.
the struggle, the ASU strike.
The Minister of Education volunteered and said, give me 2 weeks.
It was a lie. The president never gave me any deadline.
Welcome to Global Morning.
The death toll from flooding.
Most time our politicians just bring in policies too, for sure.
Incidentally, we have several more stories.
The legislature was carefully crafted to
22.2% inflation rates as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
I think Nigeria has resorted to being resilient.
Before you call a police station, before they even leave, they'll take permission from
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve.
the struggle, the ASU
The
strike.
Minister of Education volunteered and said, give me 2 weeks.
It was a lie. The president never gave me any deadline.
Welcome to Global Morning.
The death toll from flooding.
Most time our politicians just bring in policies too, for sure.
Incidentally, we have several more stories.
The legislature was carefully crafted to
22.2% inflation rates as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
I think Nigeria has resorted to being resilient.
Before you call a police station, before they even leave, they'll take permission from
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve.
the struggle, the ASU
The
strike.
Minister of Education volunteered and said, give me 2 weeks.
It was a lie. The president never gave me any deadline.
And yes, it is a Tuesday morning, live from the nation's capital here this morning to welcome you to the morning show. My name is Edikan Michael, and it's a pleasure to have you join us, tune us in this morning. I'm not just going to be doing this morning right alone. I have my co-host with me. Good morning, Ramsey.
Good morning, Michael.
I mean, when I begin to understand that there is a line between when you understand that as a sports analyst as you are, and then having the speed to dive with you this morning, it means that I'm going to go on a long ride.
Well, the speed is going to be very fantastic, and so many beautiful things.
I hope I'll be able to adjust accordingly.
No, you'll get a lot of goals. You'll get a lot of goals.
Absolutely. I mean, yesterday, what really stood out yesterday among other events in the country is the fact that the president visited Maduguri in terms of having our on-spot assessment of the flood. Some other visit, international donors, organizations and private organizations also joined SEM in a way of trying to see how they can, in solidarity, stand with the people of Borno State. For you, what really, do you feel that the visit has any meaning? Do you feel that it has a way of creating more bond for them? Because of over 500,000 people have been affected, displaced and all of that from the services we are gathering. It's quite a very sympathetic scene, and then of course putting our eyes on what the president has to out of an spot assessment yesterday. I feel it was a good direction. Although some person are criticizing probably there are more to what government would have done, there are more to what state government would have done, and some of the fact that it's not just about natural disaster, it's about the failure of government on their part not to be able to manage the damned that led to that flooding, and which some persons and family, even when the papers will be taken this morning, really having some of these reactions in terms of the management procedures, in terms of how the life that have been lost, in terms of the property that have been destroyed and all of that. What really stands out for you in all of that?
I think it's a good one that the president took out time to actually pay a visit to Borno State. Number one, it has a lot of significance. Number one, the fact that he's the father of the nation. It's just like your children are in trouble and you say, hey, come on, I need to be there. How is it happening? Whether or not you will be able to do something at a very particular point in time, your presence matters a lot.
Absolutely.
And definitely, that is going to give the people of Borno State a sense of belonging. The vice presidents, the president, and even the senate president and every other officials are supposed to visit the place. I was made to understand that even some clergies too actually went there, and they give relief materials, like Dr. Pastor Paul Enenche and his wife. They were there yesterday, and a lot of materials were given out.
International
organizations, donors are beginning to show sympathy, you know.
So is it a way of them trying to be able to associate with them right now at the moments where they are passing a whole lot of the fact that they have lost some have lost lives, some have lost their properties and all of that. But I mean, even in these hard times, our heart really goes out to them, because we are already in a difficult time, and having this kind of disaster, I mean, it's also an untold hardship push to the people of Borno State. But away from all of that issues, the papers this morning will really be having all of these, dissecting the issues and getting us to know what the headlines has for us, and of course the reactions we have on the national dailies today. So we'll just have to get to a break, and once we return from the break, we'll head straight to the newspaper reviews this morning. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. So with us right away, here's a newspaper headlines, and let's begin with the Guardian newspaper. This morning, from the Guardian newspaper, has a big story concerns as fuel price hike, weak naira, dampen inflation outlook. You can get that story about the issues of the fuel hike on the page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. We also have a whole couple of the fact that fuel at 9.50 later, we did explore the fact that our transporters are having to compete with this situation, and also the concern, the fact that many persons are still looking up to Dangote Refinery as to what miraculous sell. I mean, when you look at the fact that Nigerians were expecting a low lot from Dangote Refinery, and the fact that NNPC have started lifting some of the products in Dangote Refinery, but it looks like the prices are never going down, and Nigerians are still putting their eyes very close to see how the price can be crushed. Food prices rises at 95,000 naira, beans at 230,000 naira, yam 6,000 naira, gari 56,000 naira, that's the bag. Paper at 100,000, bread at 1,800. I mean, a common bread. Some people will say a common bread, where I mean, it was the least of it was the least of the problems of this country. Bread was sold as as low as 500, yes. And now just within a year, it's about 1,800. The very long situation we are, and of course this is just the effect of the fuel hike, the inflation that have driven some of these increases on the prices we are having on the food stuff. I mean, it's really hard times right there. Still on the Guardian newspaper, we also have fake Madugri flood victims, more relief operations at IDP camp. You can get that on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. I mean, people are trying to take advantage of the situation, and it's quite very worrisome right there. And we also have MPOX, no plan to impose travel restriction on Africans, says US. We're able to have a proper understanding about that headlines. Other ones as it are Bure's tenure as LP boss expired in June 2024. INEC insists that was a crisis the Labour Party is, and that's coming from INEC in confirmation of the tenure of the supposed national chairman having back and forth with the party at Bure. 91 fund monitored, tracked as FAC shares 3.4 trillion naira in the Q2 of 2024. You can get a couple of other reactions, and Obi and MRA lament harassment, erosion of democratic ideals. Gunmen kill 5 in fresh attack on Plateau community. A couple of other stories from the papers. I mean, we'll be coming back to the Guardian to react to that issues, but let's clearly have to look at the issues of price. I mean, obviously, issues of beans at 230,000, issue of yam at 6,000, issue of rice at 95,000. And the places of minimum wage is still at the low. I mean, you can't tell where this new minimum wage will be implemented, and yes, which is also getting a lot of concern of Nigerians. So all of these issues. What's your reaction about these new prices you're having here? Even at bread at 1,800.
I think
is that a common commodity now?
Bread is one of the things that you can wake up to any time in Nigeria, because there was a time that people used bread to calm down hunger. Bread, you know, some people do bread, akara, you know, bean cake to calm down hunger. But right now, as we speak, a lot of Nigerians cannot even afford a loaf of bread. The pricing you gave is, I think, it's the price varies at different locations. The one you just gave, I think that is for a particular location, maybe from where the person who wrote it is writing from. As it is right now, I think Nigerians are wondering, because everybody is somehow confused of where we are heading, and some questions are being asked. Why is everybody quiet about it? Look at the price of fuel. And one of the things,
shooting to 950.
That is 1,000 naira. You know how it works in this climb. That is like 1,000 naira as it is. We are feeling that the price of fuel should be around 700 naira, like Labour said. You know, Labour said the agreement they had with the federal government is that the price of fuel should not be increased. And that's the reason they accepted, according to Ajero, that's the reason they accepted the minimum wage of 70,000 naira. The minimum wage itself has not been implemented. We don't have it yet. But despite that, the prices of commodity keep increasing on a daily, every day. You keep hearing this. And Nigerians are wondering. You go to the market and you return disappointed. A lot of Nigerians go to the market these days and you see them coming back disappointed. Some go and they can't even get what will feed the family for a week. The money you used to feed your family for a month before now, a week, it won't even be enough. So I think what Nigerians are facing right now can actually be handled. There's a way this thing can actually be cushioned, because everything came as a result of a particular policy. And if revisited, get back to the drawing board. Let's see what can be done to ameliorate this. We're made to understand that the federal government was going to set up, is it a task force also, to look at the pricing of commodities in the market.
Yeah, to regulate.
But there
are a whole lot of still resistance to that policy, because I find that you are not buying this good for them. You are not you're not subsidizing their transportation of this good from one location to another.
And everybody's not buying at the same price.
Probably be going out to regulate prices. So government can only have the audacity and the effrontery to really confront the market when you are having a proper control of the market, where you're regulating, where you are subsidizing the transportation, providing rails, or maybe probably if you can't use the fuel in the road, you can provide railways so that they can use the train in importing their goods from one part of the other. So that's the reaction they're having. And as we look at the paper this morning, our inflation has hit up to 32%, which is quite very worrisome in the country. We can't really know. 70,000 can no longer fuel utility vehicle. People are saying, the transporters are saying they can't even feed, because it has reduced drastically. Transportation has increased at 50%. All of this is what we are having on the paper, on the Guardian newspaper. So get the paper of it and ask the vendor to give you so you can get more details.
I think before we get out of that topic, the only thing the federal government can do probably is to check the quality of the products, but regulating the price, I don't think it will be very easy. The Standard Organization of Nigeria and all its
the consumer
protection, they can, because what people are doing right now is they are reducing the quality of the products, and the price keeps increasing. That is -2 for Nigerians. So what they can do,
so you can still have standard of the products, standard of services.
At least what you're paying for, you should be able to enjoy a quality of the product you're paying for.
Absolutely. A whole lot of couple of reactions. Let's now get to the Punch newspaper. Ramsey, if you get the Punch, let's get started.
All right, quickly, let's look at the Punch newspaper and see how punchy it is this morning, as I begin with the headlines above the nameplate, which says 950 naira per litre. Dangote petrol may justify more importation. This is coming from the marketers. Then I just want rider to that story, and the rider says dealers, PMS versus arrive as Ipman. Petron demand transparency in pricing. What transparency are they talking about? Is it the 950 naira to a litre? Transparency, meaning the price should be uniform or whatever. I don't know what these people are saying, but I think 950, if you ask me, since it is Dangote, because what a lot of people were thinking is that the arrival of Dangote refinery is going to bring succor, to the issue of petroleum, which is one of the major problems that we have in this country. And that takes me to the big story on the Punch newspaper this morning. The big story on the Punch newspaper says Edo governorship poll. That's the kicker. Then the big story says petrol crisis threaten election as APC PDP set for showdown. A petrol crisis threaten election as APC PDP are set for showdown. Just one rider to that story, and I'll be taking the rider. It says INEC transporters review election materials, personnel carriage contract. Parties reject last-minute strategy. That's because of the price of petroleum, and the details of that you can actually get on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. Then this headline says Tinubu visits Borno, pledges support for flood victims. We already talked about that. It's a welcome development. I think it's so good that the president took out time to pay visits to the people, because what's happening in Borno State, these are things we hear from outside Nigeria. But this experience, it's so bad that people have been displaced. The problem now is how to get these people settled again. Now they are the IDP camp, and apart from the relief materials that they are getting, how would they get settled again? The missing persons, the wild animals, the people who escaped from prison, and every other thing that is associated with that flooding. I think so much to be done apart from just paying a visit by the president. And this one says NLC Abure-led NWC rejects new LP faction. I was telling Michael, we're talking some times back, we and myself, and we're talking about the fact that if any party should have misunderstanding, it shouldn't be the Labour Party. Because Labour Party is one party that the people identified with en masse. A lot of people supported.
weren't even a party, members of the party.
Yes. It will amaze you that some persons even traveled, okay, all the way from the diaspora to be part of the 2023 election because of Labour Party, probably because of the candidate that they actually fronted. But now,
the choose of an event, it looks at the party that cannot put themselves together. Probably Nigerians are saying, if you can't put your house together, are we sure that you would have done anything different from the country we have today? On the certain fact that we have diverse culture, diverse understanding. So within the Labour Party, the crisis is quite very worrisome. But I mean, that's an internal politics. We are there.
Internal politics, and someone may even think there might be an undertone to it, maybe to destabilize the Labour Party against 2027. It's possible.
Absolutely, I've spoken with some of them. They are saying that it's internal. External forces.
Also,
the people are putting a whole lot of fire. I mean, we've seen a former governor of Rivers say, "I'll put fire on yourself." People are trying to put fire in the Labour Party.
Well, I think the leadership of Labour Party should be wiser than this and put their house in order. If really they are targeting 2027, even though some persons are envisaging or maybe suggesting that there be a collaboration between PDP, Labour Party, and of course NNPP. All right, let's quickly look at this one, which says Ogun landlord defies a tenant's 14-year-old daughter. That's on a sad note. That is bad. I think the authorities would do what they need to do. Then this one says flood sacked 404 million from Nigerian schools. All that. This is coming from the World Bank, and the details of that you can find on page 16 of the Punch newspaper. And finally, from the Punch newspaper this morning, the kicker says under 18 candidates jump to limit interactions with applicants. Jump to limit interactions with applicants. Details read on page 18. If any of these stories interest you, you can pick a copy of the Punch newspaper and go through it for more details. Over to you, Michael.
Absolutely, as punchy as that was from the Punch, let's now get to the Vanguard newspaper. Over to Vanguard newspaper has a big story. Dangote Petrol. Nigerians to pay 950 naira per litre. NNPCL. And the writer to the story has it at the pump price now at Lagos 950 naira, Abuja 992 naira, Borno 1019 naira. NNPC completes lifting 16.5 million litres. We have not taken delivery of refineries petrol, depot owners. And other writers has it that consumers should expect 1,200 naira per litre. That's coming from the marketers, and the sector requires increased transparency at that man. We can't really exhaust that. We'll be having Global TV political analyst joins us to give us a proper perspective to the issues of Dangote refinery and what it looks at. The new prices that we are having is quite intimidating. That is not what Nigerians were expecting. Nigerians felt if we now have a refinery in a country, we most probably would have buy the product at the low. But that's not the reality from all indications. But we're having a proper discussion on that subsequently on the program. Flooding. Tinubu announces disaster relief fund. You can get that on page 8 of Vanguard newspaper this morning. They are for the fact that 75 died in Kaduna accident and some for both mishap. Food prices orders ease pressure on August inflation rate of 32.15%. And that's on page 19 of the Vanguard. BETS Niger Foundation honors 100 undergraduates with scholarships. We also have Konjo Iweala to seek second term as WTO VG. That's a quite commendable move by a super Nigerian woman who, of course, have been steering the ship at the World Trade Organization. And here it is again, looking forward to a second bid in office. We also have the Eid Mode fix Nigeria before it's too late. Can't tell leaders. And that's on page 9. And all lot of other issues raised at the Vanguard, which probably will do better if we can get the paper as well to get proper details of the headlines. But I mean, the story right there is the fact that we can't exhaust the NNPC conversation. We can't exhaust the fact that Nigeria is an urgent need for the president to fix the country. And when you see Khan, who are using the time of these Maulid of Muslim brothers to tell the leaders that there is a need for them to fix the country. And then we must begin to also understand that the president came back on Sunday night, just when Nigerians were clamoring for his return. If it's China, if it's the United Kingdom, in a bid to also get some things back to the country. So our daddy came back, probably with a lot of bread, with a lot of food stuff to be able to, give out to Nigerians. And probably the Bono people, had their own share yesterday when he visited them. We feel that it will not go to everybody's turn. It will not be a Milocon, my own turn, because the president has to share the bread equally for everybody. And now the president is back. Are you happy that the president is back?
Well, it's so good that the president is back, but then until I get the bread,
absolutely,
okay, because the Baba must be there.
It's a Milocon.
So it's my own turn to get the bread.
It will get to your turn. But if it's not yet your turn, you have to decide, especially the president is back and concerned by Khan that he must fix the country. The country is in need of fixing the country. Minimum wage have not been implemented. Fuel price is heading towards more than 1,000 now, from all indications, from all the interpretation that we may probably have. Because at the end of the statistics, what Nigerians are looking forward to is walking into the filling station, driving into filling stations and buying fuel. That is at affordable price. Bag of rice now no more 70,000, no more 60,000, and even the fact that the 40,000 naira, the federal government said we'll be selling our own 50 kg bag of rice. Nigerians are still waiting. Now the president is back. All of this concern are right there for the president to begin to address. I mean, it's a very big issues to deal with it right now in the country, underscoring the fact that things are quite very troubling to Nigerians. And let's not get to all the papers.
Yeah, but Michael, the president don't even need to be around before the sharing of rice happens. The palliatives, everything that we heard that about 20 trucks of rice was given to state governors. We never got a share of it. I never got a share. I don't know if you did. Then
probably you don't have need. Because,
or maybe I'm not part of the most vulnerable in the society, probably. But then I think they mustn't wait for the president all the time to do the needful. But why it has to be done even when the president is around, it means they have to speed up everything, because when the father is around, things barely go wrong because the father is around. The fear of the father of the house is around. People do everything the way they are supposed to do it. We want to say a very big welcome to the president, and it's so good that he was in Borno State after the trip. Like Michael said, we are still waiting to get our own share of the Daddy Yo. All right, let's quickly get to This Day newspaper this morning. On the This Day newspaper, I have the story here. I'm beginning with the big story. The big story says Tinubu reschedules U.S. trip to visit Maiduguri, pledge help for Borno. Okay, some riders to that story. Set up disaster relief fund, seek private sector support. I think that's very important. We heard that some persons are already trying their best by bringing relief materials. Like we're talking about some clergies who have actually done that. Some organizations are doing it, and many more is still expected, because nothing is too much for the victims if you see the situation that they are in right now. Then another writer to that story says Shehu of Borno wants flood disaster probed. Wow. flood disaster probed, meaning something would have been done. We keep saying it here that the system, the government, or the people in authority who have been given responsibilities but never held accountable do things the way they want to go. They want to do it. They do things the way they want to do it, but not the proper way most times, because no one is there to probe them. Saying that the flood needs to be probed, meaning there might be an undertone. Okay, something might be there beyond what we know. So if he's saying there should be a probe, then there should be a probe. The probe should be done. Then this one says Zulum commences distribution of relief materials to impacted persons. Then this rider says acknowledged donation from Agric Ministry, NEMA, NNPC. Kano donates 100 million naira. Ndume 50 million naira. Then finally, from the rider says IGP orders reconstruction of damaged police facilities. All right, IGP is ordering for the reconstruction of the police facility that was destroyed by the flood. More headlines still coming from this day newspaper. Oil marketers, that's the kicker. It makes no sense for NNPC to sell locally sourced petrol higher than imported fuel. That's a strong one. That's a strong one. All right. Oil marketers are the ones saying this. Michael, it's amazing that this product, when we're exporting it, all right, the price was not this high, and we were paying more to do this exportation because, first of all, we take it out, refine, and bring it back. And you know what that cost. Now that we are refining in Nigeria, Dangote Refinery is the one rolling out this product, then the price is going higher than when it was being refined outside Nigeria. Doesn't that speak volume?
I mean, as I earlier said, the issues are right there, and Nigerians are not happy about the situation of things right in the petroleum sector. It all looks like there is a whole lot of politics on the ground on it. From one end, the communication of Dangote is not matching with NNPC, and now the marketers are saying, because, I mean, when you look at the fact that Dangote had said, we are not in charge of the pricing. We would leave that for NNPC. We would leave that for federal government. NNPC on the other hand said, no, we are not the determinant of the prices. It's the market force. And it looks that the marketers are now saying, the independent marketers are now saying, allow us to buy directly from Dangote. There is no point of NNPC still being the one discharging and having to do as if they are importing this fuel. Allow us to have a free market so we can go buy and sell at willingly. I mean, concerned about how much you go and how much NNPC are really getting ready to sell what they got from Dangote. We'll be looking at that issue. Shortly, outside this break, I'll be joined by a global TV political analyst and a security professional. I'll be joining us to give us a perspective to this issue in Dangote Refinery, an update on the state of the nation, on the inflation that is hit over 32.12% just recently at the month of August. We'll be looking at that issue shortly after this break. Please stay with us on the program.
Still Global Morning on Global Television on this beautiful day. Right now, we are being joined with an analyst who is going to be adding his voice to the conversation. We're looking at the headlines for the day, the major stories and everything in the dailies. And we told you that on return, an analyst who is going to elaborate more on some of the major headlines. And with me in the studio right here is Professor Ibrahim Ado. He's a global television, political and security analyst. It's good to have you this morning, sir.
Thank you very much.
Sir, while you were coming, I think you felt the fact that this fuel scarcity is affecting almost everything. And in most of the papers this morning, apart from the fact that there is a fuel hike, this fuel hike and the dampening of Naira is causing a whole lot. So as it is right now, there is a concern as fuel price hike, then weak Naira dampen inflation outlook. Looking at the situation of the country, what would you have to say about this?
Well, if we talk of the fuel price hike, are we talking of our refineries? I don't think a nation that has 4 refineries and they are all marabouts will be able to move from where it is today. But on the other way, what are we doing to stabilize the economy? Because the first thing is to stabilize the economy. We are not thinking into that direction. So we are all dancing around the corner to see what we can do. But it is not, a nation is not a garbage in, garbage out process. It is normally a process that you have to hold so dearly, because what holds us together is the economy of the nation. And when this economy is in abeyance, then it sends a very wrong signal to the people. Leadership is not about I am having an office or having a portfolio. It's your oversight function over our collective economy. And when this is not done, then there is a problem. So what is just rising from the fuel issue to the economy or the situation of the currency today, I put it to everyone that Nigeria used to be the giant of Africa and used to be the call for all West African states. But today I think Nigeria is the poorest state in the whole of West Africa, if not entirely Africa.
All right, let's look at this now, because we're so concerned about, in almost all the papers this morning, the issue of pricing. The fuel price, the pump price is on almost all the papers this morning. But there is a confusion somewhere. Where is it coming from? First of all, Dangote said he cannot determine the price of the pump price of his petrol. Then marketers are saying, allow us to buy directly from Dangote. NNPCL should not mediate. Then this morning we are made to understand, as at yesterday, I think there was a briefing from Dangote Refinery, and right now it has been said that fuel is going to be sold at 950 naira per liter. And you know how it happens in this part of the world, that this prices varies from one state to the other, from one filling station to the other, not even state this time. Now marketers are saying, if the price is like this, on the Punch newspaper this morning, they said 950 naira per liter Dangote petrol may justify more importation. The marketers are saying this. Are you trying to say there is some form of politics going on? Because you said, I can't determine the price of the fuel. Then later, we are now hearing that it is now 950 naira. Then marketers on their own part are saying, well, this may justify importation.
Very good. I've said it here before that Dangote was only fighting for a monopoly, and he got it. And he has the backing to get it. So if the same Dangote who said the investment of NNPCL was 20%, now turn to say the investment of NNPCL is 7%, who owns the remaining balance of 13%? Who has asked Dangote that question since the beginning of this? But then, do we play around with our economy or our collective interest? If you look at the experience very well, we play around it. We are selling crude oil to Dangote in Naira, and it's giving us conditions. We have no voice. We don't challenge anybody. What we just do is high up there. So whatever he tell us, he dine and wine with the chief executives. He do everything he wants to do because he has their backing and he has their interest. So Dangote is not serving my interest, he's serving some people's interest. Very few people interest. So if anybody thinks that the Dangote refinery will solve some problem in Nigeria, the person should go back and have a rethink. It is business as usual, and he was looking for monopoly, and he has gotten the monopoly, and he stopped there. So whatever he can reap out of the people is the best for him.
All right, whatever I can reap out of the people is the best for him. So right now, you are trying to say we are at the mercy of Dangote, because a lot of Nigerians were actually rejoicing that if Dangote starts rolling out the product, then Suko would have returned. But as it is right now, the pricing, then one thing is availability of the product. What would you have to say about that? Can you say, okay, are you of the same school of thought with people who say, even if you're selling that high, the product should be available? But remember that there is this politics that is being played by marketers where they cause artificial scarcity because they want to increase the price of fuel. Can we say this price is going to be constant, or we should still expect something more in the nearest future?
If nothing is done in the next few months, we will buy fuel in this country for 2,000 naira. If nothing is done, because why I said so is, it really don't take anything to fix Warri Refinery, to fix Port Harcourt Refinery, to fix Kaduna Refinery. And since they are not facing it, the new climate or clamor for it now is government has no business doing business. I've never had that in any society before, but that is what is happening here. And before you know, some other collaborators and cohorts will buy over those refineries, and the same refinery that is not working today will start working tomorrow. To whose benefit? To the same people's benefit. So we are in a society where the rules, the policies are not in favor of the masses.
But as it is, the government, I think, on their own part, they've been trying to an extent for align, because there was a time the NNPCL came out to say, well, licenses have been given to people, private individuals, alongside. It wasn't only Dangote that got the license, all right? License has been given to other persons to also operate refineries in the country. That is one. But I think government on that part, kudos to them, because I'm saying this because you talked about monopoly, which is already playing out. But then, if these people start producing too, I think the monopoly will be reduced. Then, on the other part, the government promised that Port Harcourt refinery especially was going to start working by December last year. Then that didn't happen. They now shifted it to January. It didn't still happen. Then later on, they promised that it was going to come up. Then at a point in time, they said they should just be given a little more time, that work is going on. This postponement, does it have anything to do with the image of the government? Because sometimes when you tell a child that I'm going to buy bread for you when I'm coming back, you didn't come with it. Tomorrow you say, don't worry, tomorrow I forgot today, tomorrow I'll bring it, and you don't bring it. There is a way the child loses confidence, all right, in the father. Does this postponement have any image issue or trust or confidence from the people to the government?
These people really don't care about image issue. They care about themselves. And if we want to go deeply, have you seen a situation where I have a business and I'm in government and you want me to sustain your own business or public interest? I will first of all service my own personal interest than the collective interest. And the private interest is what is actually affecting the Nigeria economy, not only the economy and other sectors of the economy. And we have not done anything about it. What is the president's interest? What is Dangote's interest? What is NNPCL management interest, the administrator's interest? We are not looking at this interest. We are only talking because this. I can tell you for free, if they want to fix all the refineries in Nigeria, nobody is going to, the government is not going to spend $1 million US.
But this is not something that can be done in just a day. Like the government said, according to what they said, work is going on. And it's, refinery is not something that can just be fixed within a day, because of for how long it has been on ground, moribund for a very long time. Administrations came and gone until this administration came and they said they were going to do it.
You are forgetting the politics of the oil industry in Nigeria. You should remember that there was a turnaround maintenance on our refineries during the regime of Abacha. There was also a turnaround maintenance during the regime of Obasanjo. There was a turnaround maintenance during the regime of Jonathan. So how many turnaround maintenance are you supposed to contract? And these things are not working. And nobody is talking about what has Chrome done about our refineries to when he was awarded the contract for turnaround maintenance. Was there anything that has happened? They just contract this thing out and this money goes and nobody talk about it, and we get another regime, we still award the same contract. So it is the same scenario of let this thing not work so that our own can work. And if you are talking of licensing of modular refineries, which was given to a lot of the people, you find out that the licenses were just given, the permits were just given, go and no plan, no designs. You can't just give anybody a license to go and build a modular refinery. If I am to build a modular refinery, let me take it to an extent before I am granted a permit. All over the world, if you want such projects to take place, the individual just say, I want to construct, these are my designs and this, and I've acquired the land, I have acquired this is where I will stockpile from. Then he starts development. It is the development and the supervision of that structure that makes you give him a permit. But here it is, I know the MD.
The same license that was given to Dangote that produced this refinery is the same license that was given to these other persons. If you're being given the license and you say you want to do it, I think what you should do is to get started, because I think some investigations must have been done before that license was given. The same way they give Dangote, the same way these people were given. Meanwhile, we are going on a quick break. When we return, Prof is still going to be with us. Edikan Michael is standing by for the AM News, and after the AM News, we'll return for the rest of the Global Morning Show. My name is Ramsey. We'll be back after this break. So we'll return and pick it up after the end. Who is? Yes, it's news. I need to help you with the seats. Oh, Mark.
Global Morning is your ultimate destination for engaging political and economic matters. I am Uyi Agmofwebe.
And don't forget to include social discussions. Tune in every weekdays from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. I am Queen Agaba.
For insightful breakfast ideas, business summaries, sports highlights, international and local news perspective, I am Anthony Momodu.
Don't miss the in-depth analysis of current and political issues by the Global Morning team and experts. I am Jumai Manson.
Catch Global Morning here on Global Television. Getting on the action. I am Edikan Michael.
We are
the Global Morning team.
Global Morning is your ultimate destination for engaging political and economic matters. I am Uyi Agmofwebe.
And don't forget to include social discussions. Tune in every weekdays from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. I am Queen Agaba.
For insightful breakfast ideas, business summaries, sports highlights, international and local news perspective, I am Anthony Momodu.
Don't miss the in-depth analysis of current and political issues by the Global Morning team and experts. I am Jumai Manson.
Catch Global Morning here on Global Television. Getting on the action. I am Edikan Michael.
We are
the Global Morning team.
I've seen watch your network, Global Television, and I think it's a refreshing addition to some of the networks that we already have, to have competitive media and looking at news from different angles. The place to go is to watch Global Television, because it gives you a different perspective, whether it is local news or foreign news, and even you're connecting with local communities in villages that I have seen. So we urge Nigerians that, this is the time to broaden the space, the source of information, of entertainment, and of enlightenment. And Global TV is the place to watch.